Welcome back to Sosnovka, Sovkhoz, episode 4, with me, Mr. CLP. Right, we were going to grass this field 14 for the cows. We're going to need grass for them, and we will also need hay bales as well, so I'll either grass another area or find an area that we can cut and tedder and make hay bales, and then obviously then silage bales. But start off with, we'll have this one grassed. The rain is still continuing. I'm reluctant to speed up time. I don't want to. I've got jobs I can be getting on with. That's the main thing. Right, the fertiliser was finished, so I'm going to bring him back to the yard, fill up the trailer so it's good to go for the next time, and park it up, because until we've got another field or one that's been harvested, there's nothing for it to do. So we'll tidy things up. Don't like leaving stuff laying around. As I said before, many episodes ago, when I first started playing this game, I was very much just mental. You know, once I got the PS4 version, the PS3, you were limited to slots. You could only have so much equipment. When I got the PS4, in my head, it was like, brilliant, unlimited slots, buy as much as you want, you know. And I had a harvester for each field, a tractor with a seeder for each field, a fertiliser for each field. It was bonkers, you know. I think 6, 7, 8 harvesters, 3 or 4 forage harvesters, 6, 7 seeders. I had, you know, multiple everything, and then everything just ground to a halt. It wouldn't save properly. I kept getting corrupted save games. It kept tripping over and crashing, and I thought it was something to do with the console. I hadn't had the PS4 very long, and all it took, I had emails and stuff going all over the place, and reloading things and loading things and changing settings, and all I had to do was go onto each of my gameplay saves and sell a load of equipment. Sold off all the multiples of everything, and all of a sudden, surprisingly, the PlayStation 4 was able to cope. So so now I don't tend to buy tons and tons of equipment. I'm more inclined to kind of, rather than treating it like an arcade game where it's just banging around, making as much money as you can, because in my head that was, you know, how to play it. Now it's more like a farm. You know, part of that farming experience of doing the simulator is driving across the map, selling your stuff, transferring equipment around and using it on fields wherever it's needed, putting headers onto trailers or using the ones that have got the built-in header. That's all part of it. That's, you know. So my gameplay style has changed dramatically since I first started playing this game, which is a good thing. I like it. Each to their own. And as I said in the last episode, if the PlayStation 4 Pro has got better computing power, for want of a better phrase, it may well be that you'll be able to buy far more stuff, have far more placeables, have more things without it lagging, without it glitching, without you getting any sort of error codes and corrupt data and that kind of stuff. But that said, realistically, unless you are an absolute hardcore gamer and you've got an absolute ton of money sitting there that you can afford to just get rid of your PlayStation 4 and buy another one, if you were going to buy it. That's weird, it's not raining anymore. Why is it not letting me harvest? Okay, well, this field's finishing off. That was unusual. Why wouldn't let me harvest? It's not raining. I know you normally get a bit of a kind of lag when the rain stops between then and allowing you to harvest. But it hasn't been raining for a little while. Anyway, we'll just have to see. What was I saying? Yes, consoles. If you're in the market for buying a PlayStation 4 and you've never had one before, or you're going from PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4 or Xbox to PlayStation, and there's a PlayStation Pro as an alternative, then you may well do it. Like I say, you've got to be a pretty hardcore gamer or have a lot of money sitting there to just be able to say, yeah, I'll just put that PlayStation 4 to one side and buy the new one. I suppose you can always trade them in, you know. And I don't really know how much better, how much different they're going to be. Right, so that was pretty close with that seed actually. I didn't realise how low I was. It's because I think I went from field 23 over to field 14 without refilling. I think I got down to only about 200 and something litres then. So, fill it up. Turn off the automatic help. I forgot that was on. The automatic help keeps popping on every time I swap between, because in between doing the stuff here on these fields I am continuing with logging. The logging is going to be a kind of background activity that happens every now and again. I'll probably chuck a little bit into one of the episodes just to show me doing it, stump grinding, whatever it is, wherever I'm particularly logging at that time. But a lot of the logging I will be doing off screen, but it will be carrying on with other things. So when I set workers off to do fields, I may whiz off, do some logging, some lumber, and then come back. So yeah, often when I've gone from using the Scorpion King, where I really need the automatic help on, I forget to turn it off when I come back over. So that's what it'll be. I rest my case. Anyway, so yeah, I was doing some logging, happily logging away. I thought I'll check back and see if I can start harvesting now, and the harvester was already running. So I'm assuming in trying to set it off I must have pressed hire worker, and whilst it wouldn't allow you to thresh in the rain, I'm assuming that as soon as it allowed it to, it just set off on its own. So luckily I came back to check and it hasn't finished the field completely with nobody there to see it. So yes, anyway, we'll speed it up a little bit, but I'll let this do a couple of strips and I'll take over the next strip actually and finish off harvesting this field. Finally, the field you start the game off with. So if you get gold edition, when you start the map, you start with all the equipment I had in episode 1, all the equipment I sold, and this is the field you start with that has this crop in it. So this has been sitting there the whole time. So you start with this one, field 19, and the field behind it, field 14, you start with, but there's nothing in that, and it's a lot smaller as well. So it's taken all that time. I think what are we on now, episode 4, for me to get to the point where I actually get to harvest this. I could have kept the small harvester, the one you get when you start the game, and I could have let that plod up and down. I could have done all the harvesting bits and bobs first. I didn't sell any of the grain I had in storage. I think every single one of the silos started off with 8,000, just over 8,000 litres. I didn't sell any of that at the start of the game. I just sold all the machinery I had. I suppose the other alternative would have been that I spend the first episode or the first bit of gameplay carting all of the stuff I had in the silos to make as much money as I could, harvest this field, sell this grain, then sell everything and start off with the lumber. That's the other way you could have done it. You would have started off with a little bit more money, but to be fair, I still had enough money to do what I needed to do to start the game. Had I been short, had I needed to buy a bit of equipment and I just didn't have the money to start what I wanted to do, then I probably would have had to do that. But that being said, it worked out fine, and here we are in episode 4, and we are now actually farming. As you can see, it's me doing the harvesting now. I'm not a hired worker because I'm all over the place. Yes. Still, it's getting done. That's the main thing. It's not going to be quite a full load, I don't think. It won't be far off though, to be fair. But it won't be completely full. And I think what I'll probably do as well... Again, I'm just thinking while I'm playing and trying to work out ahead of time. I'll probably sell it. I'll take it down to one of the sell points. I don't know what happened there. I think I pressed the wrong button. Never mind. Yeah, just to whiz down to the sell point and show you where I sell my stuff. Obviously there are the sell points all over the map. There's the I say lumber mill. It's a lumber mill, but it doesn't actually mill anything. Where you've got the mill pond, where you can just drop logs and trees and whatever you want into the mill pond to make money. There is a bakery sell point off at the top end of the map, up above field 11. Don't tend to go up there very often. When you get great demand, it's normally like the grain elevator and those kind of places. You don't often get that top end. Down the bottom by where you do the sheep, where you buy the sheep, there's the grain elevator down there, the spinnery, transport company. There's the kind of vegetable warehouse up by field 8, actually just outside the town itself. I think it's one of the few places you can actually sell potatoes and sugar beet, although you can down at the bottom, down at the big sort of loading yard where the railway line is. You can sell pretty much anything down there, I think. So that's where we're going to be heading, down towards the bottom right hand corner of the map, down to the south east. God, I have to think for everything. And selling this bit of grain that we have, not a huge amount, but just to show you, and add a little bit more money into the bank. So load it up. As I said before, that Schluter pulling that trailer looked really small. It did look a bit, the scales aren't wrong, it just looked, it's a tiny tractor. That Lamborghini actually doesn't look too bad with that trailer. It kind of works. Thank God. So what we'll do, now it's all closed up, I'm going to go and park it up out of the way for the time being, because these are the fields I'm going to be harvesting. I'm not going to put the header trailer separately. I'm not going to tow it, there's no need to. I've got plenty of room to move around here. If I have to go onto any of the roads to go anywhere else on the map later on as we go through the gameplay series, then I will tow it as a header trailer. But I think, if I'm very careful, might just be able to get it in here as it is. It's out the way. I've got no wood chips to put in here, to be fair, so it's not going to be getting in anyone's way, which is helpful. I'll put the feet and wheels out the bottom just to support it, so all the weight's not on the harvester itself, and now I've left myself no room to get out. Genius. So what we'll do then, we will jump into the Lamborghini. It sounds weird, doesn't it? Jump in the Lamborghini, we'll whiz off down to the sell point. Make sure that beacon's on. Don't want to go out on the road carting anything without the beacon on, although I do tend to forget. Traffic, there is a car coming that way, nothing that way. Although to be fair, I could have probably got out. No, I'll wait now. I'll go out between them, that'll annoy them. There we go. And once I've picked up a bit of speed, do a bit of safe overtaking. Just like Westbridge Hills, Sosnovka welcomes self-drive. Oh, I remember the nightmare. Safe drivers was what I was going to say. Self-drivers? Oh, how bizarre. So we are heading down to the southeast corner of the map. There's like a freight yard down the bottom by the railway. The far side of the railroad tracks, the southern side of the railroad tracks, is where you can sell your sugar beet and potatoes and things like that. On the northern side of the railroad tracks, there's a yard you can swing right the way around to the sell point. The beauty of that being that you can actually send the train off, which is great because it does mean that you get a little bit extra when you sell your products. So this exit, I believe, yes. Now you can go down to the right here, but that's normally the way I come out. It's up to you. If you want to do, I kind of in my head have it as a one-way system. Around the back of this big building here. And to the sell point. Like I said, it's not going to make a huge amount of money, but it's just to, on that, my second proper farming episode, actually go to a sell point and actually sell something. And I feel like I'm actually doing my job properly. The next one will be the big one, because that's got a relatively big field for canola, so I should get a fair bit of canola off that field, 23 that we just seeded. I think what I'll have to do as well is buy a forage wagon to pick up all that straw. But anyway, that's episode 4. Train's off on its way. Finally got the harvest done in that field. Hope you enjoyed the episode. If you liked it, like it. Any comments, please leave a comment. Subscribe. Join me again for the next episode. Should be coming relatively soon. Look at my other series if you haven't seen them. Look forward to seeing you again in the next episode. And thanks for watching.